Hello, I'm Mike, and this is Will. We are the Tabletop Donkeys.
Hello.
And we're bringing you issue 72 of Warhammer 40,000 Combat Patrol magazine today. This issue came with two new layer paints, White Scar and Uriel Yellow. The painting guides will show us how to apply those to our models. And then in today's game, the Genestealer Cults are going to have a second crack at it and see if they can score some victory points this time as they face off against the Leagues of Votann. So looking through the issue first, we have the new painting guides, how to add White Scar and Uriel Yellow. The White Scar is the highlight for any white parts and Uriel Yellow for any yellow parts. So for the Marines, we have the White Scar highlights for their helmets, the Crux Terminatus insignia, any white shoulder pads, the captain's hair, and Uriel Yellow for the yellow pipes on the Librarian. And also some Administratum Grey highlights for any black areas, particularly on the Chaplain for his bike. It does look a bit harsh. I would probably use Mechanicus Standard Grey personally. And then the Tyranids, again, Administratum Grey for any black areas, White Scar for any white areas, like the tendrils on the barb gaunts, a dry brush over the Psychoclastic flow from the Psychophage, and Uriel Yellow for the eyes of the Termagants and any eye-like bits and any of their living weapons. For the Chaos Space Marines, Uriel Yellow if you decided to paint any yellow helmets on the Terminator's trophy racks, and then White Scar highlights any of the bones or any of the straps on the Legionaries, the casings of the missiles and the Dark Apostles beads, and some Administratum Grey for the trousers on the Dark Apostles 2 Acolytes. And then the Genestealer Cults, where we're mostly using Uriel Yellow for any light fixtures, which there are going to be quite a lot of, and any fuel tanks and the road sign for the 1 Aberrant. Then we're on to part 17 of Bonds of Honour, where Sergeant Askerton still has yet to recover his bolt rifle, though he and his squad have left the orc-infested planet with the aid of the Leagues of Votann and have finally landed on an Imperial planet. And they've encountered some Astra Militarum who aren't quite as friendly as they might have hoped. Then some background on the Astra Militarum and on the use of combined arms. So the Astra Militarum is huge, it's considerably larger than any other force within the Imperium and is its main fighting force. And although some regiments might all be trained to fight in a singular way, most of the time they will make use of combined arms, infantry, light and heavy armoured vehicles and aircraft. And he gives you some examples. So you have the Valkyrie Armoured Carrier, which is actually part of the Astra Militarum, although the Imperial Navy also has an air force that supports the Astra Militarum. There are many armoured vehicles, including the Super Heavy Baneblade, good old-fashioned artillery, and there are a number of special forces within the Astra Militarum, such as the Tempestus Scions, shown in that picture. And then going over humanity's resolve to survive for the many alien and chaos threats to their existence, the Astra Militarum are known as the Hammer of the Emperor, because they are often also the first to encounter enemy forces. And the next 2 pages have a map of the galaxy showing how the Imperium is split up into various segmenta and the major fortress in each area, and as well as some of the major war zones. And then a preview of some of the many worlds that Astra Militarum regiments are drawn from, such as the Cadians. Cadia, though it was destroyed, still maintains many regiments that fight all across the galaxy. We also have Attila, which is a dry, arid place that creates very good horse riders who will operate as scouts for other regiments. And then Krieg, a radiation and toxic covered planet where every member of the regiment is trained from birth to fight, and they have very little regard for their own personal safety and casualties. But that said, for our issue content, I'll hand you over to Will, who will show us some upcoming campaign games, and then we'll get into our campaign game for today.
So there's no new rules in this issue, we just have 2 more campaign games with the initial matchups for the Astra Militarum. So we first have them up against the Space Marines on Clash of Patrols, and then the victory outcomes for that as usual, and then against the Tyranids on Display of Might. But otherwise there's no mission presented in this issue, so we will be playing a campaign game, but not one of these yet, because we haven't got the full Astra Militarum Patrol, of course. The game we will be playing is Genestealer Cults vs Leagues of Votann on Display of Might, so our 2 most recently completed combat patrols facing off for the first time. And the background is that the Genestealer Cults, through their infiltration of Imperial society, have essentially taken control of a mining operation, but the Leagues of Votann have arrived looking for resources to claim for their own, and the Genestealer Cults rise up to face them. So here we are set up for Display of Might. We've got the Leagues of Votann on the left and the Genestealer Cult forces on the right. There are 4 objectives, 1 at the top, 4 at the bottom, 2 and 3 in their respective deployment zones, which are currently underneath models. Having a look at the Leagues of Votann, we've got the Hankin Pioneers deployed out here on their right flank, or the left from the camera's point of view. And then the rest of the force, I'll be playing the Leagues of Votann. I've split the warrior unit in two. The High-Las rifle and the Magna Rail rifle are with the Power Spectral Scanner and two other chaps in the centre of the board on Objective 2. Next to them is the unit of Einir Hearthguard, which I brought instead of the Chthonian Berserks in this game. And then the Carl is with the other half of the Hearthkin Warriors on the other side with the unit leader and the medic. The Carl will have the Pragmat Comms uplink enhancement, giving his squad +1 OC and the ability to reroll battleshock tests. And I'm going to take the Toil Earns secondary objective. So I picked Objective 1 at the start of deployment to be my target for that, so I gain 4 victory points at the end of my turn from the second battle round onwards if I control it. And then having a look at the Genestealer Cult deployment.
So I've got the Aberrants behind a bit of terrain for some cover. Got a unit of Neophytes on Objective 3 as far up as I could so they can head towards another objective. The other unit of Neophytes is holding station behind some terrain, and I've got the Rock Grinder on my flank. And I'm going to attach the Magus. I'm going to attach the Magus to the Acolyte and then put them in Deep Strike. I'm going to choose the optional enhancement and secondaries because we usually like to show them off. The optional enhancement is Resonance Stave, which gives her anti-infantry 5+ and devastating wounds on her melee weapons. And Will of the Patriarch is my secondary objective, where at the end of the battle I score 15 VP if the Magus is within 3 inches of the centre of the battlefield.
And a reminder for Display of Might, we have 4 objectives. Primary objective is 5 victory points for 1 objective, 5 victory points for holding 2 objectives, 5 victory points if you've claimed an objective, and then another 5 if you claimed an objective and held it for 2 consecutive turns. To claim an objective, a character model has to be standing on the objective and then it has to be under your control, and the character model and any other models that were in range of it when it was claimed continue to claim it until such time as they move away. And there's also a special rule where you can't use the Insane Bravery stratagem on any units that are more than 6 inches away from your warlord. So we're just rolling off to see who goes first. I'll roll 1 for the Votann and a 3 for the Genestealer Cults. So be it Genestealer Cults turn 1. Although before the start of the first turn, I will make a small scout move with the Hernkin Pioneers towards Objective 4.
So the Rock Grinder's going to move out aggressively, moving 12 directly towards the Hearthkin Warriors opposite, because if I can kill the Carl, that stops the Votann being able to claim objectives. The squad that started in the open has moved to get into that crater to go towards Objective 4 and to get some shots on the Pioneers. The other squad has moved out a little bit. Aberrants are going to stay where they are for now. So I'll start shooting with the Goliath Rock Grinder. It's going to put its Clearance Incinerator and Heavy Stubber into this unit of Hearthkin Warriors. Demo charges are out of range.
And I can spend a CP for Skein Rock Physiology to give them +1 to their save rolls.
We'll start with the Clearance Incinerator. Gets 7 hits. Strength 6, so wounding on 3s. That's 4 wounds at -1.
So with Skein Rock Physiology, that gives us a 4+ save. Made 3 of them, so 1 dies. Feel no pain from the medic. Nope.
And the Heavy Stubber on 4s, 3 and 5s. Put them all in the box. No wounds.
So just 1 dead.
The Neophytes in the crater are going to put all their shots into the Pioneers. So we'll start with the Seismic Cannon, 4 shots on 5s. Ooh, getting 2. Strength 6, so wounding on 4s. Nope. Heavy Stubber, 6 shots on 4s. Getting 3. Wounding on 5s. Nope. And then the hybrid firearms didn't achieve anything. So the other unit, the Seismic Cannon, will also go into the Pioneers. Well, there's 1 firearm and the Heavy Stubber, which will go into the unit of Hearthkin Warriors on Objective 1. 4 shots on the Pioneers on 5s, getting 1. Wounds on 4. Nope. 4 shots on the Hearthkin Warriors on 4s, getting 2. Wounding on 5s, getting 1. No EP.
So a 4+ save. Saved.
So I'm not going to try and charge with the Rock Grinder.
And so with that, we'll be on to Leagues of Votann turn 1. I put a Judgment token on the Rock Grinder, and then the Hearthguard and the Carl's unit have moved towards it.
Yeah, when the Carl's unit moves, I'm going to Overwatch with the Rock Grinder. Not going to throw damage after it gets out of range. So 2d6 shots with the Incinerator for 5. I'm going to CP reroll the number of shots, try and get more than 5. 8, that's better. Wounding on 3s. 7 wounds at -1.
So 5+ saves. Made 2, so 5 go through. I technically should have actually rolled those one at a time because there's a chance they could go through to the Carl, but actually all my failures were 1s and 2s, which would have failed even on his save anyway. So it's just be 5 feel no pains on a 6, because the medic would be the last one to die. Made 1, so that will just take out all 4 of the Hearthkin.
And then there's the Heavy Stubber on 6s. Oh, well, you got 2 5s. I didn't wound.
So unfortunately all of those Hearthkin Warriors are toasted, but that does mean that the Rock Grinder gains a Judgment token because it destroyed a unit, and I'm actually going to spend a command point for payment in kind as well, because it destroyed a Leagues of Votann unit, so now I can reroll 1s to hit against it for the rest of the game. And then the rest of my movement, the Pioneers have just moved up onto Objective 4, and the other unit of Warriors have moved forward to the barricade. On to shooting, both the Carl and the Half Guard are only in range of the Rock Grinders, so they're going to put all their shooting into that. Carl first, hitting on 2s with 3 attacks, and winning on 5s because of the Judgment Token, devastating wounds. 1 devastating wound. And then all the Half Guard with the same gun will also be hitting on 2s because of the Judgment Token, and re-rolling 1s because of the stratagem that I spent. Re-roll the 1s, so 1 miss. Wounding on 5 as well with the Judgment Token, also devastating wounds. 2 devastating, but no 5s, so just 2 wounds inflicted. And their grenade launchers, 5d6 shots, hitting on 2s, re-rolling 1s. So they all hit, wounding on 5s. 5 wounds.
5 3+ saves. Failed 1. It's down to 6 wounds.
The Halfkin Warriors will shoot at that as well, with all their weapons. Starting with the Magna Rail Rifle, hitting on a 4 because of the Judgment Token. It missed. 6 shots from the rapid-firing High-Las Auto Rifle on 3s. Re-rolling 1s, so they all hit. Winning on 4s because it's strength 6, so +1. Gives 4 wounds at -1 AP.
4 up saves. Made them all.
3 Iron Blasters on 3s, re-rolling 1s. 3 hits, winning on 5s because they're strength 5. 1 at -2.
5 up armour. Nope, down to 5 wounds.
Finally, I've got the Hankin Pioneers. They'll put their auto cannons into the Rock Grinder, and they'll put their bolt shotguns and the High-Las Auto Rifle into the neophyte hybrids in the crater in front of them. Auto cannons on 3s, re-rolling 1s with 9 shots. 7 hits, winning on 4s because 5s normally. 6 wounds at -1 AP. And they're 2 damage each.
6 4-ups. It failed 2, it's down to 1.
And 6 shots with bolt shotguns at the neophytes on 4s. 2 hits wounding on 3s, 2 wounds.
And we've got a couple of guys in cover, so 4+. Failed both.
And 6 shots with the High-Las on 4s, but sustained hits 1. 2 hits, because 1 6 and a load of misses. Wounding on 2s. 2 wounds at -1.
1 guy in cover with a 5-up. Nope. Another guy in the open on a 6. Nope.
So that was 4 dead neophytes. And the Rock Grinder's down to 1 wound, and the Carl will declare a charge on it, as will the Hearthguard actually, because if they get in, then they'll be on the objective. I'll roll the Carl first. He fails with a 4, and the Hearthguard get a 9, so they should be in. So the Carl's stuck in the crater, but the Hearthguard make it into melee, and then they're already on the objective and in base contact, so they will just fight straight away. They have 3 attacks each, so that will be 15, hitting on 2s, re-rolling 1s because of the Judgment Token. 6 1s to re-roll, 1 miss overall, and it's strength 6, so 4s to wound with the Judgment Token. That's going to be 10 wounds at -2.
It's dead. Does it explode? It did.
The Carl is just out of 6-inch range of the explosion, so it'll just be the Hearthguard affected.
Yep, so it's D3 mortal wounds on the Hearthguard. Getting 1.
That just does a wound to someone. That'll be the end of Leagues of Votann turn 1. On to Genestealer Cults turn 2.
The unit of neophytes that was in the crater have moved up to hold objective 4, and I got 5 victory points of holding objective 3. And the other unit of neophytes has moved out to try and get as many within 12 of the Einherjar Hearthguard.
When they move, the Hearthguard will fire Overwatch at them. Start with the grenade launchers. It'd be 5d6 plus 10 shots because it's blast, and there are 10 of them. There was 33 shots, so I have to do them in 2 batches. This is the first lot. 3 hits from that. And the second batch, 3 hits from that. Wounding on 3s, 4 wounds.
1 chap has cover from the corner of some terrain, so he's got a 4+. Oh, he lives, and then lives, and then lives, and then lives.
And all the Volkite on 6s, 3 hits. Wounding on 3s with devastating wounds, 2 wounds.
So man in cover, 4+. Oh, he dies, and then a 5+. Oh, somebody lives. So the Aberrants advanced, kind of hanging around at the back out of range, see if the Hearthguard want to get closer. And I'm going to deep strike the Acolytes and the Magus into the crater where the Neophytes were, hopefully to charge the Pioneers. So the unit of 6 Neophytes is going to put all their shots into this unit of Hearthkin Warriors behind the cover. So the leader will put his pistol into the Pioneers because he's in range of the Warriors. So I'll start with the Weber. So D6 shots, 3. Wounding on 6s, which are devastating. Nope. Seismic cannons, 6 shots on 5s, getting 1. Wounds on a 3. No. Heavy stubber, 6 shots on 4s, getting 2. No, wounding on 5s, getting 1.
With cover we have a 3+. Oh, no.
Hybrid firearms on 4s, no. And the leader on the bikes gets a hit. Wounds on a 5, no. Squad of neophytes is going to put everything into the Hearthguard. So we'll start with the Weber again because there's a guy on a wound. 5 shots. Wounding on 6s, which is devastating. No. 6 shots from the seismic cannon on 5s. Hitting 2. Wounding on 4s. No. Heavy stubber and the leader's pistol. 7 shots on 4s. 5 hits. Wounding on 5s. We got 1. No AP.
2+. Yes.
And 8 strength, 3 shots from other guns. 4 hits. And 6s. No. The Magus and the Acolytes will put some pistol shots into the Pioneers.
Though particularly that didn't do anything.
Yep, so we'll be on to the charge phase. Well, I'll do the Acolytes and the Magus first because I want to re-roll their charge if I need to. So they need a 9. They get an 8, so I'll re-roll that. Nope. So the Neophytes will charge instead. So they get in. That stops the Pioneers from being able to teleport at least, unless they'll get killed.
So those 6 do make it in like that.
5 attacks from the regular dudes on 4s, getting 3. And 6s. Nope. And the leader missed.
And 6 attacks back on 4s. 4 hits wounding on 3s. 3.
5 up saves. Failed them all.
And that'll be that for Genestealer Cults turn 2. On to Leagues of Votann turn 2. So I got 10 victory points because I do hold 2 objectives, but Carl hasn't made it to an objective to claim it yet. And I put a judgment token on the Magus' unit of Acolytes. And then the only movement will be the Carl moving on to objective 1 and the Hearthguard moving towards that unit of Neophytes. In the shooting phase, I'll do the Pioneers first. They've just got their pistols to shoot at these Neophytes. And they've got their bolt revolvers, 3 shots on 4s, 2 hits, wounding on 3s, 2 wounds.
5 ups. Made both.
And then the Hearthkin Warriors will put all their guns into the Magus' unit.
I'll spend a CP for Lurking Killers, so the Magus' unit is -1 to hit for the rest of the phase.
So I'll do the High Las rifle first. It'd be 3 shots on 5s. Oh, 2 hits. Actually on 4s because of course the judgment token. But it was 2 hits anyway, wounding on 2s. Actually wounding on 3s because their toughness 4, but it did wound anyway.
So 5 up with the cover. Ooh, made it.
2 shots with ion rifles on 4s. 1 hit, wounds on 3. Yep, -2.
So 6 up. Nope, he's an Acolyte.
And the rail rifle, oh, missed. The Hearthguard are going to put all of their weaponry into the Acolytes as well. 5d6 plus 5 grenades, because there's still 5 in that unit. 26 shots hitting on 3s, because the judgment token. 14 hits wounding on 4s. 6 wounds with no AP.
There'll all be 4 ups, so I'll roll them all together. Failed 2.
And the Volkite, 15 shots getting 8 hits, wounding on 3s, 6 that are devastating. No devastating, but that will be 7 wounds.
7 4-ups. Failed 4.
So that just leaves the Magus on 2 wounds remaining.
Roll for Cult Ambush for the Acolytes, so it's on a 4+ for them because they're not battle line. Nope.
And finally we've got the Carl who'll shoot at the Neophytes. 3 shots on 3s, or 2s rather, so they all hit, wounding on 3s with devastating wounds. 2 wounds.
2 5-ups. Fail both.
That's all my shooting, so the Hearthguard are going to charge those Neophytes. And they roll a 4, which might just be enough. And the Hearthguard make their charge, and with a pile in they look like that. And then they have 15 attacks on 3s. 10 hits wounding on 2s, and these are -2 AP, so it'll just kill them. 8 wounds, so they're all gone. And the Hearthguard will consolidate towards objective 3. They're going to be charged by the Aberrants anyway, so they might as well keep them away from the middle of the board. But that did destroy a unit, and because it's Neophytes, they automatically come back.
So I put the token in this corner of the battlefield. The Hearthkin can probably reach it, but it does pull them away from the Magus at the very least.
Then we just have the fight at the bottom, where the Neophytes get to go first. But their attacks didn't do anything, so the Pioneers attacking back on 4s. 3 hits. 3s to wound, 2.
5-up save. Made 1, failed 1.
And then I do gain 4 victory points because I hold my secondary objective on objective 1. But that'll be the end of my turn. I'll be into Genestealer Cults turn 3.
5 victory points for holding objective 3 because I still just have more Aberrants on it. Magus is going to stay where she is because if she moves she'll get overwatched by 7,000 grenades. So we've just got some pistol shots at the bikes.
Neither the Neophytes nor the Magus' pistol did anything.
So in the charge phase we'll start with the Aberrants going into these guys.
10, so they're definitely in.
And then the Magus will charge the Pioneers as well. Still needing a 9. Nope.
No.
I'll re-roll that. There we go.
It was either a 4 or a 6, depending on how it fell, so it was going to be in regardless. So the aberrants get in like that, and the Magus makes it to the Pioneers, and both of those units can strike first.
We'll do the aberrants first. So I'll do the aberrant with the strength 6 AP 0 melee weapon. 5 attacks on 3s, getting 2. Wounding on 4s, no. 12 attacks on the other aberrants on 3s, 9 hits. Wounding on 3s because it's strength 8, 6 wounds at -2.
4s to save. Oh dear, failed 5, so they're all just dead. I'll re-roll 1 with a command point just to see if I can keep 1 alive. Just about.
And there's still the hypermorph tail which missed.
So just 1 left.
And then the Magus on the bikes, 4 attacks on 3s, getting 2. So wounding on 5, 6 is a devastating. Oh, devastating. D3 damage, 2.
And then 2 of the Pioneers will put their attacks on the Magus, because one of them is in base contact with the one who's in base contact with her, and the other one has to go into the Neophytes. 4 attacks on the Magus, 2 hits. Wounding on 3s, yes.
5 up armour. Oh, she's still alive on 1 wound somehow.
And 2 attacks on the Neophytes. 1 hit. Wounded.
1's dead, so I'll leave the boss, I suppose.
The Neophyte leader missed, and then I've just got the 1 remaining Hearthguard fighting the Aberrants. 3 attacks on 3s. So they all hit. Wounding on 4s because toughness 6. 3 wounds at -2.
So that'll kill 1.
Which will be the unit leader with the terrible weapon. And that'll be the end of Genestealer Cults turn 3, on to Leagues of Votann turn 3. I gained 15 victory points because I hold 3 objectives, and I also claimed 1 with the Carl this turn, and I put a judgment token on the Aberrants. The Pioneers will stay in melee again, as will the Hearthguard champion, because he failed his battle shock test. Carl's just going to move back from the objective, and the Hearthkin warriors advanced, so that one of them can get within 9 inches of the cult ambush marker, which disappears. So that means the only shooting I have is pistols from the Pioneers. We'll put them all into the Magus.
So I'll spend a CP for lurking killers, because it doesn't say you can't use it if you're in melee.
And she's actually in cover as well. She's got a toe in the crater. So 3 shots on 4s because she's got a judgment token. So +1, -1. There's only 1 hit. Wounds on a 3. No, I didn't. Then we're on to the fight phase where one of the Genestealer Cult units gets to go first.
I'll pick the Magus to go. 3 attacks on 3s. They all hit. Wounding on 5. 6 is a devastating. So there's a wound at -1.
5+. Yes. I'll do the Hearthguard champion before he gets pulverised. He hit 3 times, wounding on 4s. 2 wounds, another Aberrant's down to 1.
Leader, he hit, wounds on a 5, no.
Pioneers will do the same again, 4 attacks on the Magus, 2 on the Neophyte. So on the Magus, 3 hits, wounding on 3s, 3 wounds.
555 to live, no.
And on the Neophyte, 2 hits and 2 wounds.
Dead as well. Just the Aberrants to try and smush that remaining Hearthguard. 12 attacks on 3s, 5 hits, wounding on 3s, 3 at -2.
Any failures will kill him though with 4s. Oh, he failed all 3 of them. So that will be the end of vote in turn 3. I gain another 4 points for holding my objective for my secondary.
Yeah, and I'm going to concede because I've got 1 unit left.
Yeah, the Aberrants are a long way away from anything. They won't be able to charge probably in their next turn, and then I've got all those autocannons that can probably finish them off reasonably well. Plus, obviously, the points are way ahead for the Leagues of Votann at this point. So it'll definitely be a Leagues of Votann victory, and we'll recap that for you now. So that was a Combat Patrol game as part of issue 72 of Warhammer 40,000 Combat Patrol magazine. How did you think that went?
Well, I suppose it went better than the previous campaign game for the Genestealer Cults because I actually scored some points this time. Probably would have helped if I think the Neophytes between them did 1 wound that was unsaved, so I'm not sure how many seismic cannon shots actually hit, but it didn't feel like very many. And the Acolytes didn't do anything at all.
Yes.
So once again, we're up against a unit with a 2+ save that spits out 1,000 shots, which also isn't in the base Combat Patrol, like the Terminators.
Yeah, the Hearthguard are quite hard to deal with the Genestealer Cults. I think perhaps actually the greatest weapon you have against the Hearthguard is the Rock Grinder. So maybe the fact that I was able to destroy that before it could use any of its melee attacks was possibly the deciding factor. But on the other hand, driving it towards the Carl to try and get rid of him wasn't necessarily a bad tactic. So
yeah, I probably could have put the Goliath on the other side to counter the bikes.
Yeah, that might have gone better. I mean, I deliberately stacked one side towards the objective which I wanted to control, and that just happened to be the side where the Rock Grinder was, so that was where all my powerful attacking units were. It does go to show show, though, that the Leagues of Votann, although they don't have any real anti-tank weapons except the Magna Rail rifle, which is obviously only one shot that will miss half the time, with the combination of judgment tokens, you can actually damage big things, and because a lot of your guns have quite good AP, it can add up, and then actually the Hearthguard in melee, with the 2 judgment tokens winning it on 4s with -2 AP, actually worked out quite well. But they didn't enjoy their meeting with the Aberrants, though.
Well, the middle of the board was very open. That was just how we deployed the terrain, so they just kept shot to bits and moved them out.
Yeah, we perhaps could have deployed the terrain with more line-of-sight blocking in the middle, but the way we tend to deploy the terrain is we roll randomly for it and then put things down as they come out. As we were rolling off, there was just a lot of craters and barricades coming out, and they all ended up in the middle. I suppose we could have rearranged it afterwards, but we don't tend to do that, so sometimes it's just not the best layout.
Yeah, although I do think that the optional objective and enhancement for the Genestealer Cults, I don't think either of those are particularly good. If I was going to take these Have Her Survive to be in the middle of the board, use the default enhancement that makes her squad have +1 save against shooting.
Yeah, I mean, you can see the difficulty in trying to keep the Magus alive until the end of the game. It also seems to be an objective where it's probably just win more. If the Magus is alive at the end of the game and standing in the middle of the board, you possibly won anyway. If you're controlling the board that much anyway, you probably already won. And yeah, the +1 save to the unit she's with just seems flat out better, to be honest, than that enhancement.
And the objective where you get extra VP for objectives you have neophytes on, so I could have just sat one unit on my home one and then been fine.
I think as well we've seen 2 games where Cult Ambush just hasn't mattered at all. In theory, part of the strength of your combat patrol is having units come back, but you're actually really quite restricted in where you put them if your opponent has anything anywhere near the middle of the board. Yes, you can force your opponent to move into the corner, for example, like you did, but at that point it didn't actually matter anyway. Maybe against a really aggressive army like the Orcs or the World Eaters who are just going to rush at you, perhaps it's easier to get behind their lines, but against an army with any shooting where some of the units might want to hang back. But anyway, I think there really isn't actually much more to say about that game. You can see exactly how it went just by watching it. There's not much more we can add just by repeating what happened. So we're back to the Astra Militarum Combat Patrol in the next issue with our first squad of Cadian shock troops, seeing how they perform. But if you did enjoy this episode, then do leave a like and subscribe. Let us know what you thought in the comments below. If you've actually played with Genestealer Cults Combat Patrol and you have any advice for how to get the best out of it, or whether you have found there are some matchups it just isn't really good at, then do let us know. We'd be interested to hear that. But we've been the Tabletop Donkeys, and we'll see you in the next one.
Bye for now.